All right, Mastermind with Neil Schwartz and our very special guests today, Derek and DJs, brothers working in real estate. But before they were in real estate, they were officers in the Army. So number one, gentlemen, thank you for your service.
Our
How did
pleasure.
you, how did you end up in the Army? You guys are too good looking for that. Who wants to take it?
I'll take it.
All right.
Derek, after graduating school, got an ROTC scholarship and headed off to college. And I was 2 years behind. So I did the exact same thing and followed him into ROTC. And that, led us to the Army.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, again, thank you. Where did you end up in going for basic training?
So we were in San Antonio for a period of time. I probably spent, 4 or 5 months there just doing, like some officer basic training, and then came right to El Paso. And I actually spent 6 years in El Paso after that here at Fort Bliss. So great experience in the Army.
So right now, you spent 6 years working, developing relationships, et cetera, without really an intention of going into the service. Going into real estate, correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Absolutely.
What did you think you guys wanted to do? And after talking with you a little bit, my sense is that both of you wanted to do something that you could do together. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's right. And just to be honest, Neil, the Army was a great experience for us individually and together for our families. We grew up, as Army brats. And I was actually ready to continue on to, an Army Baylor program through Baylor University and do an MBA. And, DJ at the time was like, hey, I'm actually leaning towards getting out. And we'd been stationed together here at Bliss for about 5 years. We lived a street over from each other. Our wives are great friends. And it made me think, go to school, incur some more obligation back to the Army, or maybe, roll the dice, get out and get into something with DJ. And, ultimately, it was pretty easy decision when I put pen to paper, just to, get out, kind of bet on ourselves a little bit. So we made that transition pretty quickly, maybe in a matter of like 4 months, I was out of the Army and DJ was out. And then, we were boots on the ground and running, so to say. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Excellent. What did they call it? What was your billet? What did they call it? What did you do in the Army?
We're RNs by trade, so we were Army Nurse Corps officers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what took you down that street?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. Graduating high school, I wasn't really sure what to do. And my dad was like, I think you should explore this. And I had no idea, what an RN did, literally none. And so showed up to college and quickly kind of found out what an RN did, realized it probably wasn't something that I wanted to do long term. So I did do some nursing work in the service for probably 18 months and pretty quickly moved into like administrative positions and that I found more suitable, and DJ did the same. So yeah.
Got it. Your dad was an attorney, correct? In the military? Right. So how long was he there? 30 years or 20?
Right between 20 and 30, I think 25 years he got out.
Okay, got it. And he's still around? Is he in El Paso with you guys?
He is. He's in El Paso with us now.
Yep. Got it. What kind of work does he do? Is it lawyer work?
Retired. He's retired.
Retired? Got it. Okay. Cool. Well, thank him for his service also, please. Okay, so you not a likely path for a real estate agent doing really, really well. So this is by itself fascinating story. All right. So tell us, how did you end up selling houses, and what did you do to get started?
Well, so
I think I got out in April of 22, and I was like, you know what? I'll get my license. With the background in nursing, I had explored like medical sales quite a bit, and I was really on the fence of what I wanted to do. And so Derek and I decided, why don't we go to the Mike Ferry event in July, really kind of see, if this is for us. Derek's son got sick. He was in the hospital. So I brought my wife. Um, and that was great. But, we showed up and we were listening, and I was like, you know what? I think this is something that we can do. So obviously at that point, Derek had 3 kids. So, I said, why don't we put everything we have into it? At that point I was jobless. So it was a little bit of a jump, and we decided to go, full steam ahead, make the investment, go, head first. And here we are. So
So
I
you
wanted
did,
to,
so you didn't have a retirement coming out of the service because you guys were only there for 6 or 7 years, right? Okay, so they didn't give you any money for that. Um, Derek, you have 3 kids at the time. DJ, you don't have any children, and it's like, let's go into real estate for it's 100% commission. I thought you guys were smart.
well, talking to a lot of people there, hearing their, unique stories, how they ended up in real estate, what they did to achieve success. Um, I've always kind of seen myself as a hard worker, and I figured, if that's what it is, showing up on time and doing the right thing every day, I can probably, make a
You
dent
could
in it.
you could figure that one out, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was used to being told to do that every day, so I figured I could make that work.
Well, good. That was interesting. So you were attracted to the discipline, you were attracted to the consistency, you were attracted to the money, but you guys have done your first year, you did combined what, 50 something deals?
58. Yes, sir.
58 deals. How do you do 58 deals your first year? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we were fortunate. We went right into the Mike Ferry system. We got a great coach in Joe Lehman. And then from there, we just tried to put one foot in front of the other, practice quite a bit of blind faith. And what we really did is what we wanted to do is provide a real service to our client. And we thought, hey, if we can come from this service point of view, we'll build a long-lasting business with clients who want to seek out our service again and refer their friends to us and family. And we were fortunate at the beginning. I think we'd be remiss to not say that we did get a couple of lucky breaks, and from there we just tried to build on top of that. We never took our foot off the gas pedal, and I think that's something that's pretty easy to do here. And I think Mike talks about it a lot. When the size of commission checks grows, some agents may back off. And for us, it's one aspect of the business, but the other aspect does come from that, service perspective. And that's really fueled us, just to be frank.
So tell me what that means from the service side of the business. So here's where my head goes. You're new in the business. You start, I don't know, the first month or two, how many houses you sell?
First month or two was slow, Neil.
Yeah.
I remember sitting. Yeah,
How slow?
it was slow,
I think
very slow, nothing.
That's slow.
Yeah.
I think the first month we did take one listing. And I remember, I was sitting in this office practicing a lot of blind faith. It was just me and DJ. And I remember, asking DJ, hey, do you think this really works? And, we had met some folks.
Yeah.
Go ahead, DJ.
I was just going to say, just coming back and telling him, oh no, if we just do this, it'll all work out. And Derek was like, are you sure about that? I'm not really sure. And I was like, yeah, you're just supposed to keep, working hard, showing up, doing what you need to do every day. And, anyways, yeah. So, and, then eventually, Neil, the concept was proven, right? We saw some success, and we tried to kind of keep moving that rock forward every day, in some capacity. And then from there, you do get a snowball effect. Yeah.
So all of us on this call, a good part of us, have started slow the first month, 2, 3. So And we ask that question every morning when we get up, is this really going to work?
Yeah, right.
Um, um, but you didn't have a lot of money behind you. You had a decent amount of expenses. So you had just got out of the military that, they gave you some good money, decent money, daily, weekly, etc. You learn how to do the discipline. When did you start? When did you make your first check?
Luckily, shortly after the first listing we took actually sold like within the week, cash offer closed right away. So that was fantastic. And we were hooked.
So you took the first listing in the second month?
Yes,
Probably, yeah. And
Okay.
it
And
was a
by the
cash
third
offer.
month, you picked up a check.
exactly.
Okay. And that's when it started to snowball a little bit for you?
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember, we really started in August when DJ got back from the Mike Ferry event. So August of 2022.
Yeah.
I sent my wife and my three kids at the time back to Pennsylvania. My wife was going to visit her family. And I remember calling her, I'll never forget. And we'd had a pretty good week. I think we'd taken a listing or two. And I told her, I said, hey, this process is working. A little bit probably just so she could let her parents know that, hey, everything is going okay. Derek's now going out on his own. And then from there, things, like I said, they really snowballed, and having each other to kind of pick each other up and keep everything moving forward was huge. So
So a lot of it had to do with you had each other to work with or from or on. Okay. Were there any mentors in the office or trainers or a particular salesman that helped you along, or this was all coaching and your disciplines?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many people that when I went in July initially that I met that were so helpful along the way. People that are, so kind and successful in every way. And they've always just kind of made time and have been available. And that, I mean, there's so many people, I can't even name them, but, we're so grateful for that because like Derek said, I mean, there were a lot of times where we were like, I believed it worked. And sometimes when it doesn't happen, it's just like, geez, waiting for that to happen. But yeah, there's so many people who are helpful.
So when you say you're consistent, you say you're doing the right things on a daily basis. Scripts and dialogues, you learn them right away?
we did.
Yep.
Okay. You don't have a natural gift to gab?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, I think we both enjoy talking to people. So,
Yeah.
that part has been easy, but obviously totally different. Just striking up a casual conversation with somebody and then transitioning to what we're doing now.
Okay, got it. And how about learning the inventory, previewing property? Was that important in the beginning?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay,
Understanding what was out there. Yeah, just so that you can speak to it for sure.
cool. Okay. Um, and what was so scripts and dialogues, what to say and how to say it, learning the inventory, what was and is important. Is that still important to you 2 years into the deal?
Oh, very. Yes.
So you're still working with scripts and dialogues, practice and etc.?
Yeah, probably not as much as we should, but absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's
Got it. Okay.
progress.
How much of a database, past client and sphere, well, you really didn't have past client, but how much of a sphere base did you have in the very beginning?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think together we probably had a database of like 350
Around there.
and
So the funny thing about the database is the first year, having transitioned out of our jobs in the Army, we didn't really want to start like just reaching out to everyone, hey, we're selling real estate, because we wanted to really have our feet under us to make sure that we were providing the best service to those people. So actually in January, the next year, I was eating lunch and Dan Mum came and sat next to me and he was like, how's business? Where are you getting your business from? And he was like, well, what's going on? You don't call anyone who knows you and trusts you. And I was like, yeah, I want to make sure that we have, a business that's really set up to serve them in the best way possible. And he was like, at this point, you're doing so much better than most agents. You are at that point to serve them well. So he was like, I want you to make sure you start reaching out to all those people. And we did. And that's, grown that quite a bit.
That's great advice. And having somebody like Dan Munn share that with you is pretty powerful, right?
Absolutely.
It really
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
So, but let me ask you, like, what do you do to provide service? What was it you were trying to accomplish so that the service that they got from you guys was far better than your competitors? What did that look like?
Yeah, it's a great question, Neil. I think at the beginning, it was accessibility to us, right? At that point, we do in El Paso, we have a lot of strong agents here. And so from the beginning, we were coming from a point of, hey, we're here to meet every need that you have in the process. And, as we've grown, we've wanted to keep that level of service. So we've obviously had to make some implementations to help us with some of our processes. But what that's allowed us to do is still be very accessible to our clients. And, when we're leaving a listing presentation, we want to set the standard, of the next couple steps, who's going to be reaching out to them from our team, how they can best reach us. And I think that sets the tone for the relationship right away. Our clients understand, hey, anything that we need real estate wise with this transaction, we will reach out to them and we tell them, it's so much better to reach out immediately when a fleeting thought comes to your head about the process so that we can address it right away. And what we found is we really avoid any misunderstanding through the process with that very frequent communication. I mean, Mike says at least once a week. I think our properties that are live on the market, we're probably talking to our clients at least twice a week. Just let the process is going.
And then what do you talk to them about? I mean, there's no showings, there's showings, but there's no offers, or there's no offers, and what do you talk to the client about?
Exactly what's going on. If properties that are comparables are going under contract, we're doing our best to figure out why did they choose that house versus ours? Why did they not go into our house? Because all of that information is helpful as far as, marketing the property, pricing the property, and making sure that the clients have the best information so that they can make their best informed decision as well.
Okay, got it. Okay. So what else are you, when you say you're accessible, I mean, you answer the calls 24/7? How does that look?
Not 24/7, but if I have my phone on me and I can take the call, we pride ourselves on answering the phone, making sure that we can address it for them. Because selling a house, as everyone here knows, it's, a big decision for folks, so selling or buying. So we want to make sure that we're there to, coach them through and help any way that we can, really.
Got it. So you make yourselves available and you let them know what the next step is going to be.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Great. Excellent. I love that yes, sir stuff. All right. So before we go further, questions for Derek and DJ, anything that comes up in your mind as we're moving along here? Josie, go ahead.
So you were just saying that you make yourself accessible. Do you guys advertise everything together? And you must put both of your phone numbers on your cards, or I guess, so people can, if they don't reach one, they'll reach the other. Is
Yes,
that right?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We work together. Yeah.
So all of our advertising is together, and all of our clients will have both of our personal cell phone numbers. So, the second we leave a listing presentation, I usually drive. DJ starts a group chat with those clients right away. So, there's going to be 3 or 4 people in that group chat, and 2 of them are DJ and myself. So right away, they have both of our personal cell phones, and they know that anything that they need, they can call or reach out via text in that thread. I truly think it puts the clients a little bit at ease to know, hey, I really have accessibility anytime I need it.
Do you guys both go on the listing appointment?
Yes.
Interesting.
Most of the time.
Most of the time we do.
Most of the time? Okay, got it. Has your Mike Ferry coach talked to you about switching that up at all?
Yeah, they've talked with us about it. You know, at the beginning, Derek and I, we weren't that strong. So, going two people, usually
Right.
one of us would have an answer for something if the other one was tripped up. So, but yeah, I think as we move forward, maybe that'll be something that we start exploring.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Excellent. Other questions? Thanks, Josie. Appreciate the question. Other questions for the guys right now? Are you both
Yeah,
lieutenants?
quick question here, Neil.
Go
So,
ahead,
what are
Gonzalo.
your main sources of business
Good
today?
question. Good question.
It's pretty spread out. Probably about 35% COI, 30% just listed, just sold, canceled, expired, a few for sale by owners, and then probate has become a little bit of a bigger section of our business as well. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Good stuff. Excellent. Thank you, Gonzalo. Any other questions before we move on here?
What does the future look like for your team?
Milton, I love your hat. Are you auctioning those off? Good job, buddy.
The future of the team, we probably need to bring on a full-time assistant in the office. Right now, we have a listing and a transaction coordinator who've been very helpful. I mean, they're fantastic. But our coach is telling us we need to bring someone in the office to really help with, moving everything forward a little bit faster.
Your second year, you're on track for how many closings this year?
We have,
full year?
as of today, we'll have 90 closed and 6 pending. Our goal is, we'll try to put another, 4 to 6 homes under contract and close before the end of the year.
Before the end of this calendar year.
Yes, sir.
Got it. So that you'll end up somewhere close to 100 closed and pending?
Yes, sir.
Something like that. That's great. Good for you guys. Excellent. Josie, go ahead.
What does your father think of your career change?
He was very supportive. Our family's been very supportive. It's truly a family business. And so we've had great support, not only from our parents, but from our wives as well. So yeah.
Do your wives work with you?
No, my wife's a school teacher, and she enjoys that. So I don't think she's quite ready to leave that and join over here.
How
Maybe
was it? How was it when you started calling your COI, which I guess were other young people in service?
Yeah.
How'd you get over that little hump of asking them for business?
It's a really good question. That was very challenging at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think once we kind of got over that with a lot of assistance just from people that we met through the Mike Ferry organization, we wanted to come from a point of providing information. And I think through that, people began to trust us. And DJ had a question for Mike in January or October of 23. And he said, we've built up a decent COI, but there's a little bit of an issue there. They see us, in our past light, which was, soldiers basically.
Yeah.
And Mike said, at the end of the year, put a postcard out to everybody in your COI and let them know, how the first full calendar year went of 2023. And, we did that and it was received very well. And it was a talking point, starting at the beginning of 2024, it kind of gave us some credibility and validity. And our COI responded to it well. Yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question, Josie.
Yeah, no, that's great.
That's a great point. And I think the way that you did it, everyone that is your COI and maybe still in the military is thinking about what are they going to do after the military, right? Mm-hmm. So you gave them a path. Some might take it, some won't, but say, look, this is what we did, and it worked in a very big way. I mean, you guys were earning as lieutenants monthly about how much?
I think it was like, it's been a while, maybe like $3,500 twice a month.
Yeah, so 3,500 twice a month, like 60,000 a year.
We got out as captains. So I think, yeah, that was my salary was, yeah, about that, after tax.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't think I made more than $400.
Well, Neil, when I first came into the Army, I was just telling somebody this the other day, the Army paid me $1,900 twice a month. And, so like I said, great experience. I wouldn't trade that, for the world. I think it really helped us and helped our business to where it is now. So it was great.
Clearly, good for you guys. That's great. Fantastic. What prospecting methods did you use in the beginning, and did it change now?
Yeah. So, when we first started, we were making some calls, and our coach said, you guys should really consider door knocking. And we did quite a bit of door knocking at the beginning. We just set up some challenges for ourselves. I remember one week, I think we said, let's each door knock 100 doors a day for 7 days. So Monday through Sunday, we did 1,400 doors, and that worked. It turned up some business for us, and then I think it has changed a little bit. We're not out, door knocking quite as much, but definitely we still will do it. DJ loves to get out and do some door knocking. So
right now, door knocking and contacts by the phone, the goal for a week would be about what?
We try to talk to around, 40 people a day or so each.
Okay, all right. And how long does it take to do that?
A lot of our neighborhoods, Neil, are pretty close to each other. Like the homes are built pretty close to each other, a little bit smaller lots, so you can get from house to house pretty quickly. But I would say maybe talk to 10 folks an hour or so.
Yeah, okay, that's probably the deal, just
Yeah.
in general. Yeah,
exactly.
8 to 12 people.
Yeah.
Got it. Rochelle, thanks for doing the numbers for me. So Rochelle says you were making $84,000 a year in the service.
It sounds about right.
That sound right? Okay.
Yeah, so right when we got out, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So you were making some dough at the time. I didn't realize military made that kind of money. Okay, but I'm not interested in going back, so don't worry about it.
I was going to say the recruiting station might still be open, Neil.
Yeah, I know. You guys get a bonus for sending old guys over there?
A referral.
Woo, I like that. Good job. Okay, so we have other questions. Anything else before I move on here? Go ahead, Grace.
Okay. I'm sorry, Neil, go ahead.
Well, is it Grace and then Emma?
Okay. In your mind, every morning, I know you have 40 people to talk to. So in your mind, is 40 contacts is your goal, or you want how many leads, how many visit or appointments? What's in your mind in the morning?
That's a great question. I don't want to speak for Derek. For me, my goal is just to have, those meaningful conversations, see what I can do to help them and to be available for them. We try to make it really simple for ourselves and break it down to the lowest metric. And that's just that. So if we do that every day, we know that we're going to, get to appointments and get to listings and then obviously get them sold and so forth. Does that answer the question?
Let me make a conclusion. You mean you just put yourself on a call and try your best to do try to approach to every single calls you could.
Yep.
That's my side. So basically you do 4 or 5 hours cold call.
Yeah, different ways of talking to folks, however we can. But yeah, the goal for us at the lowest denominator is the contacts. So if we can get the contacts, we know that, the leads and the appointments will follow.
Got you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
So I think where Grace is, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
No, I think where Grace was going with this is if you start the day, how do you start the day off? What are you looking before, and at the end of the day, how would you know you accomplished it aside from the contacts?
Thank you, Neil.
That's yeah.
So,
So
I think everybody's goal when they're prospecting is to set an appointment, right? Set an appointment same day, go out, take a listing, get it signed, get it up on the market that
How
week.
often does that happen?
That happens, I would say at least, twice a month.
Okay, but out of thousands of contacts,
Mhm.
2 times a month, you talk to somebody and you take a listing, but you really talk to somebody and set an appointment to go back and get the listing or go back and answer some questions, correct?
Absolutely.
Right.
A lot of our business has come from people that we've met through prospecting, and then we've stayed in touch with them.
Right.
Provided them with market updates, over the course of sometimes, a couple years. And those folks, they end up moving. So I remember that there's people that I spoke to my first 4 or 5 months in the business that, we've worked with them just recently. So, obviously there's some sources where you're going to get that, more instant gratification and appointment right away. And then some of the sources that we use, it's further out, and we like to balance those. So I think that you kind of create a business that's stable, and always kind of moving in an upwards trajectory.
Would you say that most of the time you set goals and go out to do something, it's to get a lead and turn that lead into an appointment that day? Isn't that the thought process starting the day?
Absolutely. Yeah, it has to be.
And that happens almost never like that, right?
Yeah, it happens almost never. I will say, you asked at the beginning, we had a couple of those, right? Which was just proven concept. And that really kept us going. Somebody on a just listed call said, I'm actually looking to move. I'm planning to move next week. And you're just, you're so surprised. But it does happen. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I think what would be helpful, Grace, and maybe something Derek and DJ correct me, is that prospecting is lead generating and follow-up is appointment setting. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's where a lot of us get in trouble, because we're going out to set an appointment and we will get the appointment, but we might not get the appointment that day.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I've heard people say the fortune's in the follow-up. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What other questions do we have for DJ and Eric?
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Emma. Yes, you did.
That's all right. Thank you for joining us. Just curious, when you door knock, and I know the weather conditions in El Paso, is it like during the day or in the evening? There's a certain hours that you door knock?
it was, yeah, Derek, when we started, actually, Derek said, it's about 110
Right.
to our coach. And he said, I don't care. And literally, he said, I don't care. He was like, you guys need to go do it. So get out there and, do your best and do it with a smile. Literally, I can remember like it was yesterday. So
And another question, do you both hold yourself accountable?
Hold each other accountable, or
Both,
Is that what
both,
you meant?
because they're a team, correct?
Yeah.
So you hold each
that's
other
a good
accountable.
question. Do you present? You present as a team, but do you keep track of it like a team?
everything's combined, and actually if you break down like who's generated the business, it's about 50-50. But yeah, we both work about 10 feet away from each other, so when one of us is or isn't working, the other, we're just looking at each other all day, so there's an unspoken rule, if you will, that we're here to work as hard as we can while we're here during the day, and and everything else will fall into place.
Oh, that's great. Fantastic. Grace, do you still have your hand up?
Yes, I have another question about both of you about the paperwork. How much you hands on the paperwork? Like say you take a contract, you put a listing. Do you put a CRML yourself, or you just your responsibility is for the contract? That's it.
Yeah, it's a really good question. So we had an assistant who was super helpful, and then we, needed to move on to something that was going to be more stable, if you will. So actually, someone at Mike Ferry told me the best thing you can do is drop your processes in on someone who already has everything set up for you, rather than trying to take time to coach and train somebody. So we found a company that we were able to adapt our business to, so that they can do all of that like paperwork, because obviously, honestly, they're much better at it than we are. They're very detail oriented. So that's kind of how we adapted to that.
So from which point
But
you start to hands off? Let's say you only take the listing contract and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So we get a listing contract signed, we scan it right to our listing coordinator. And we set that expectation with the client after it's signed. Hey, you're going to be getting reached out to by so and so probably tomorrow, and this is what to expect. So nobody's surprised.
They will schedule the camera, schedule everything, and they will load everything for you.
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Wow. Awesome.
question, the listing coordinator, is that your TC?
They're a part of the same team, but one of them, we have her just focus on the listing side. And then as soon as it goes under contract, we have the TC take care of everything from there through closing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is
So-
that person virtual?
They are, yeah.
So what I think I'm hearing you say is that you don't tell them what to do, you tell them what you want done, and then they tell you how to give them the material so that they can get it into the system. So you're not training them, they're trained, they're training you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and when we went through this hiring process, we interviewed a couple different agencies, and we quickly found out when we interviewed the folks that we hired, they just said, hey, you may have some processes here, but we're going to show you what our processes are, and you're going to learn a lot from this. And when you're ready to move on from us, it's no problem. We're an open book. Take everything that we've taught you and train your in-person assistants. But we didn't want to, create a better mousetrap, because it was already perfect the way that they had it. And what it really allowed us to do was it allowed us to scale by just
Yeah, I can totally see that. So what CRM have you used?
So we use Follow Up Boss. They I guess it's more like a Google Sheet almost that we communicate back and forth with. I mean, we text and call, obviously we talk quite a bit, but that's really the main form that we can send over all the information so that they can go forth with their processes.
Do they use something called SkySlope?
I don't think
Not a big deal. I just when you said what you said, I had the vision that they would tell you what system, CRM, but then you're saying that they're not that tough with it. Okay, I like that. Josie, go ahead. Josie, go ahead.
Josie, you're muted.
I'm
Josie?
sorry. Do we have your contact information?
Oh,
Hey guys, can you type it into the chat box for us?
absolutely.
Good, thank you. Okay, it's okay to get referrals, right, guys?
Absolutely.
All right, good stuff. How much of your business comes from referrals from the Mike Ferry organization, do you think, on an annual basis? Are you getting a couple of 3, 20? What is it?
It's something that we really need to improve.
Yeah.
We've sent a decent amount of outgoing referrals to other Mike Ferry agents, which has been great. Just due to the population we have here in El Paso, we send a lot of people out. Now, we obviously receive a lot as well, but we haven't capitalized on that. But it's a work in progress for us.
When you say you received a lot, but you're not capitalizing, is just your follow-up on those leads, or the leads are not good?
I'm sorry, what I meant was, El Paso, we receive a lot of people move to El Paso annually. For military, we have a lot of government facilities here. We haven't done a good job at putting ourselves out there, I think, to receive a lot of those referrals. So we don't receive a lot of incoming referrals, is a
I
short.
get it.
I think we've received one since we've started.
Okay,
which was
but
very great.
so you're not getting business from the Mike Ferry group yet.
No, not really.
Okay, don't focus on anything else this year but getting business from the Mike Ferry group,
Okay.
and you're going to be just fine.
Okay.
I think.
Could you put your email addresses in there also?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
So in the beginning, we did talk about the Mike Ferry group was a very welcoming group. Come in, whatever we have is yours, my casa, su casa, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the same rule applies with business. Okay, so they'd love to do business with you, wouldn't you, Milton? Right, see Milton?
I was the one referral I think they
Oh,
received.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
One
Good
more
job.
one more question for them, please. Do you have an ISA team?
No, we don't.
Okay. Why?
Honestly, we just haven't really explored it. I don't
They've
know
only been in the
about it.
business two years. They've done 140, maybe 200 transactions. They're slow learners, they'll get it.
Wow.
Go ahead. Somebody had a question.
Is that something we should have, Neil?
What's that?
An ISA team?
At some point, yes, very much so. But don't build it, hire it. Okay, Derek and DJ got some really good advice from Mike, because I'm notorious for, hey, that's a good idea. I'll build that system. Okay. And then, 6 years down the road, I'm still trying to get the kinks out of it. No. Mike never said that to me. Darn it. I'm going to call him and be mad at him. That was great advice, guys. No, Milton, you got somebody in your area that either would be virtual or local. Get them to do your ISA stuff. We do a little bit of that in our company. Our biggest issue is we just don't have enough ISAs to work the system. So, but we will. So that's a great idea. Yes, Milton. Okay.
What is the name of the company that you guys use for your virtual transaction coordinator stuff?
The name is slipping my mind. I'll look it up and I will, if you put your phone number in there, Josie, I'll send you a text with their information and then the people that we use. JG coordination. No, they do something different.
Got it. Do you use somebody to do the follow-up for your past client and sphere in terms of mailings, phone calls, things like that?
Yeah, it's not quite as automated as we would like, but we have it's like a mailing company, so we send out 4 mailers. We write handwritten thank you notes to our clients at Thanksgiving, just out of being thankful for them, and then we'll send out a Christmas card as well.
Great. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so clearly you guys know what you're doing, and consistency has a lot to do with this. Systematizing what you're doing has a lot to do with this. But give me 2 or 3 or 4 things that our agents could do between now and the end of the year that might get them an extra couple listings or couple sales. What would you suggest? What would you tell us?
Well, the first thing that I would say is sticking to your schedule. And Neil, I'm sure you tell all of your agents that. I know Mike tells us, all the time, you got to stick to the schedule, especially the morning schedule. Whatever that may be, I think you need to stick to it. For us, it's you know, fairly simple. We like to get up early. We like to get some sort of exercise in. We get to the office early. It's a change that we made in July of 23, after leaving the event. We get to the office at 7 every day, allows us to acclimate, look to see, you know, what's on the docket for the day, and then, you know, promptly begin at 8 in the morning. And that, you know, 8 to noon is pretty simple time. It's time to reach out to future clients and past clients. And then from there, you know, the rest of the day is hopefully appointments. But if not, you know, our schedule reverts right back to exactly what, you know, 8 to 12 looks like.
Which Milton actually was very instrumental in helping us realize, you know, if you don't have appointments, the morning schedule, just you transfer that to the afternoon schedule again, and you kind of start over.
Got it. Good
Neil,
stuff.
Neil, did you ask them, do they role play? Do they role play?
Yeah, they do role play.
Okay.
I know we keep looking for people that make a lot of money that don't role play, but it's hard to find.
And you know, just about the role play, another thing that we implemented in July of last year was Adam Chall. I think he's on this call.
Yeah, he is.
You know, he has a great prospecting Zoom link. Yeah. And it's allowed us to listen to what really experienced agents say when they're talking to not only future clients, but past clients. I mean, that's probably what I've learned the most from listening to, you know, folks like Adam, you know, on the phone, talk to those past clients. And that's been huge because when you're not on the phone, you know, you're picking up some things that other experienced agents have to say, and that's been huge. So anybody who's not, you know, prospecting in a group, that's been really important for us. Yeah.
Perfect. Good stuff. Love it. Grace, did you have your hand up or your machine
Yes.
is just perpetually saying?
No, I just hands up again. I'm curious, is it possible for you to share your sample schedule for 2 days? One day is with appointments in the morning, that's you've already shared, you know, just the sample days of your schedule. Make it really tight, detailed, is it possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I can send it to you. If you put your email in there, I can also send it to you if you'd like. But you know, we're at the office at 7. We're, you know,
Let's say
prospecting.
what time? What time you wake up?
She wants a whole schedule, bro.
Do you want me just to send it to you? I can email it to you or text it to you.
No, I want details, like how long you use to prepare yourself, make your hair and shave, you know, shower. Like,
Yeah.
like I could take an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. So that's something like that, you know.
Well, I
Hello.
think in those kinds
Sure.
of things, everybody's going to be a little bit different. But
Yeah.
if your goal is to be at the office at 7 o'clock in the morning, be 7 o'clock in the morning, then just work backwards from that. How long in the gym? How long for breakfast? How long kissing your husband, et cetera, and then
Kissing my husband is 1 second. That's
1
very
second. Okay. Too much information.
okay. No, I just want a really detailed sample, so it will help. I think.
Grace,
Mhm.
their schedule and your schedule are different.
I understand.
Let me work with you on that, okay, so that we can move forward here. But I promise you, you'll have a good schedule. You'll have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, but don't worry about that. Okay.
I do.
My schedule says wake up and listen to Neil.
Well, that's exact. And Milton is very good at that. Thank you, Milton. Good job. And if you guys are ever looking, anybody's ever looking for something to listen to, I have 1,300 YouTube videos up there under Neil/training. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you have absolutely nothing to do and you want to shoot yourself, go up there and there'll be plenty for you to listen to. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I actually really want to know. So from
Hey,
7
Grace, this is
7
what
to
I love
8,
about
no,
you. Go
like
ahead.
how long you practice role play? I'm sorry, Neil. I know it's
Grace,
time.
Grace,
Go
give me your
ahead.
number and they'll text it to you.
Grace, go ahead.
Yeah, Grace, I'm happy to go over a schedule with you really quickly. I do think schedules is so important. And so basically, you know, I wake up around 5:30 most days. I try to get some sort of, exercise in, even if that's 20 minutes, I just think it's the process. I'm out of the office I'm out of my house by 6:40. A lot of days, DJ and I actually drive together. He lives, a couple streets over from me. We'll pick each other up, head into the office, get in at 7. And then we kind of review what we have as far as, what our listing inventory is, what's pending, and, what we need to do that day. Role play and practice, we need to be quite a bit stronger on. We do have some setup role plays with other MFO agents in the morning. I like to get those complete, well before 8 in the morning. That way I have a couple minutes to kind of look, what I need to do prospecting wise that day. And then from there, I think it's important. I don't try to analyze too much my prospecting or my sources during the day. Right. I think there's sources that we all call, and I think it's important to rotate and switch those. But I think the most important thing is doing some sort of activity during your prospecting time.
With intention.
With intention.
Yeah.
So, if you're calling, make the most out of it. If you're door knocking, make the most out of it. And then really just occupying that 4-hour block with productivity is the most important. Does that answer your question, Grace?
Yes, that's what, there are two things I got distracted. In the morning when I review, then basically if 7 o'clock I review what I'm going to do today, then I'm out. My brain is out and, I start to do things like supposed to do something else. And also the second thing is when you say 4 hours calling, when you call, you really call, but you don't, like you got a lead. And you really want to know. Now my brain is stuck with that lead. Also, oh, what happened to that property? I'm so curious. Do you do that or you do it in the afternoon?
I think that it's really tempting to do that, but like the way that I think about it in my mind is I don't want to get too far off track. It's kind of like the snowball effect. Like I say, okay, we got one, that's fantastic. Can we get another? Right. And that's just kind of the way that I think we approach our business. I don't want to, get too distracted by something because, hey, like our coach says, 25% of your appointments are going to cancel, right? So you don't know, could that appointment cancel? Let's stick to the task, finish, especially in the morning, the prospecting activity, and then, go from there.
Thank you.
DJ, one quick question. Not relative to what my darling here was talking about, but you mentioned a podcast that you listen that Adam has.
Oh yeah, it's like a Zoom call. So yeah, and that's been really helpful just because, like for example, Adam's been in the business for a long time, and the way that he can help his clients is, so immense. And just like the things that he can bring to, serve them in different ways, hearing how he's talking about it, different ways he's doing things, that's really kind of opened up our minds and our ability to offer those same services to, help in all those different ways too. So yeah, I mean, you're just constantly listening to people who are, their businesses are so much more mature, and that's been really helpful.
Adam, can you?
Great, thank you.
Are you accepting new people in there? Can you put a link in?
You bet. Yeah, I can do that, Neil, for sure. I do have a question though, if I may. What shampoo do you use, Derek? I'm just kidding. That's not my question. I'm in awe of these two in the sense that they show up daily, and it puts me to shame with my level of consistency and dedication to this business. I'm just curious, on days when you don't feel like showing up, which we all have, how do you two make sure that doesn't throw off your day, your week, your month, and your business plan? I'm very curious on that.
So, I hate to be boring about that answer, but I think we have those days too. I mean, all the time. But I think that, the blind faith is huge. And we've gone through periods of our business over the last 24 months where things, haven't gone our way. And you just kind of have to remember, what's the end goal and how do you get there? And I think what we've really come to realize, which is, I think, our greatest strength is, hey, if we just put one foot in front of the other every day, do what we're supposed to be doing, the results will come.
Yeah.
So it's really just a blind faith, and yeah.
And having each other, knowing that, you know, the business, it's both of us together. So if I'm not working and he is, then I need to pick up the slack, or vice versa. So it's always just making sure that we're doing our part.
So financially, do you split everything?
Yeah, we're 50-50 partners.
50-50 partners. So yeah, and your brothers. So if your brother isn't in the office at 7 o'clock in the morning and you are, then you throw a rock at him, right?
Oh, absolutely. Or
Yeah.
worse. Yeah.
Okay. I get that one. Okay. Fantastic. Really, really good. Everyone, Martin, did you have a question? You guys got time for one or two more?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, Martin, go ahead.
Sorry, my coaching call is 12:30 to 1, so I missed some of the interview. What is your mindset goal for next year? Do you have one? Have you worked on that?
Yeah. You know, there's a couple things that we're going to try to implement as far as like, you know, administrative staff and whatnot. But are you referring to like how many families we would like to help next year?
No, that's a financial goal. How would you grow next year?
Like how will our business grow?
Develop, yes. Mhm.
Okay, just cutting in and out. How would you answer that?
Oh, yeah, I mean, great question. You know, I think what you'll see is you see a little bit of the effect of, you know, all of the past clients that we have, right? We expect to see that. Obviously, everybody's skills, the longer that you're in the business, those skills improve too. And from there, you know, we track our numbers pretty diligently. And so we've got, you know, 24 months of data that we can really reflect on that show us, you know, if you want to help this many families make a real estate transaction in the next calendar year, this is really how many people you need to reach in order to do that. So, you know, the goal setting becomes, like Neil mentioned earlier, kind of a backwards planning from there.
Thank you.
The other thing, Martin, and I'll add to that, Derek and DJ, is when you're working your past client and sphere, and you know, Mike suggests that we touch them a certain number of times. What we find is there's direct business, meaning somebody calls you and buys a house from you or sells a house through you, and there's indirect business, okay, which is they call you or they email you and they say, my son wants to buy, my daughter needs to buy, my aunt and uncle. So we have direct and we have indirect. So what I tend to find is the 10% is where most agents are short. They come in at 5%, they come in at 8%, stuff like that. And where the shortness is in the indirect business. They're not asking enough questions to get that indirect referral. That makes sense? So Martin, those are the little things that we work on that will make the difference. Getting to the office on time. If you're always 15 minutes late, then you're going to be running 15 minutes late on everything. That's going to be a problem. You guys seem to have the discipline and the things. You just need the nuances now.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So unmute yourselves, please. Let's give these guys a big hand. Woo! All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great, you guys. Really, really, really well done. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
What we're going to do now, Derek and DJ, is we go around the room and we ask the agents that were on the call, what did you learn? What did you get out of the call? You're welcome to hang around, or if you're going to have you have a hard stop, we totally get it. We continue to record this, and it'll be in the recording that we'll send out in a few days. So either way, okay, guys?
Yeah, we'll stick around for a couple minutes.
All right. Excellent job. Really good job. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, so what did we learn today? What did we learn?
I have something I want to share.
A beer,
It's,
please.
Okay, it's the consent Presley, which is dedicated for the morning hour, because the power hour it's in the morning, and this is they mention it. Yeah, morning is the best hour you can get the best of your energy, and I learned that today.
Good.
Uh,
So you just
added.
have to get here earlier than Miguel to get the more of
I
the.
am always earlier than him.
Okay, good job. Okay, what else to thank you, Abir? What else did we learn today? What else did we learn from these guys today?
Well, I can say something. You know, I met DJ first at a superstar retreat, and he was debating whether or not he should sign up. And I'm like, dude, the way you look with your just talking to your discipline, you're gonna be better than Josh Barker. Like, just go sign up, just trust Mike. And he, you know, that was 2 years ago. Now they're gonna
And
do
that's
93
happening,
deals.
isn't it?
Holy, 93
Yeah.
deal. That's crazy. They're
If
killing.
if you guys don't know who Josh Barker is, we did an interview with him, so he's on that mastermind list. But he does a spectacular. By the way, he's ex-military.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe there's a connection. All right, good stuff. What else did we learn? Grace, what did you learn?
I learned I need to go military, so be better to the discipline.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I could just see you now marching around with a rifle. Good work.
But thank you so much. I really learned, how you not get distracted by leads, by potential, whatever gets so exciting and come back. Just continue to do your thing and then something else later.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Thank you, Grace. What else did we learn? Patty, you got something to teach your people?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate it. What I got and we share with our agents is it doesn't matter how we feel for the day. We all go through that. Sometimes we feel good. Sometimes we feel like we can conquer the world. Sometimes we feel like, holy moly, is this
The world conquered us.
right? But the point that you made very clear was do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Do your job because it's our job. That's
100%.
that's what I got today.
100%. Patty, thank you. Appreciate it. What else did you guys get today? What else did we get? Martin, you must have gotten something today.
It's funny. I'm working on my next year business plan with my coach. And instead of looking at it quarterly, they looked at it as results and then working it backwards. Sorry, I missed half of the thing because I was on my coaching
That's
call.
all right. That's okay.
That was really good.
Good. Excellent. Josie, what did you learn today?
Well, first of all, thank you guys. I'm impressed with your discipline, and discipline is so important. Discipline, following your schedule. That's what every successful person does. I guess that's it. Just
All right,
thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Josie. Good. Martin, go ahead.
I do want to add one more thing. You told John Sullivan to watch his, what you talked about right now. I didn't get to watch the whole thing of John Sullivan because on my coaching call this week, I must have watched it like 5 times. I will watch this. That's a great thing to watch. All these interviews, because every time I hear it, there's always something different that I missed on the last one. And now I'm keeping notes on the interviews that you do, which is awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Neil.
That's very smart, Martin. Yeah, there's about 200 interviews that we've done in the last 4 years. And some of the top agents and people in the country, names I forgot. You go through so many of these, but that's sometimes where some great ideas are. So anyone that isn't doing that should go back and do that. I call it a master's degree in real estate, because if you spend 45 minutes a day looking at that, you can get a master's degree in this business. Absolutely. Good stuff. Thank you, Martin. Okay, what else did we learn today? Tess, tell me, there must be one thing you learned.
Well, for me, this is what I learned. It doesn't matter about the age. I would say that for these 2 guys, they were very, very consistent. They're very focused and really intentional. That's what they're in right now. In other words, they start their day like with this mindset, and their mindset is very, very strong. But can I ask one question really quickly? I'm sorry, I don't want to take too much of the time.
Go ahead.
To there. When you are both presenting to the seller and basically like sometimes two people, there's different personality. How do you negate like being able to talk to them like, look, I am on a team, we are a team, we're partners, but how do you do that? I think, what is the percentage of that? Let's say, I mean, I'm asking a lot of questions here, only because if there's two of you, you're almost talking like one person per se.
Yeah.
You understand the question?
Absolutely. So, from the very beginning, we let the prospective client know, hey, my brother and I will be out to the house at so and so time. So it's never a surprise. Most of our listing appointments, there's at least 24 hours of time between setting the appointment and going. So, we've sent them some information. We've sent them some marketing information in between that time. They can put faces to names. They're expecting both of us to be there. Is that what you're asking, Tess?
Yeah. So basically, because sometimes there can be a different personality. Like I would think that a DJ is more of a driver, and Derek is more kind of amiable, if I'm not mistaken. So far, right? So there's like two different personality. I'm just wondering, how does that work? How do you combine that on a listing presentation?
Sure. Well, when, if we're presenting to like, two folks, husband and wife, for example, usually they have, a different personality, and one of us will gravitate, just naturally on personality. So they will appreciate one of us probably more than the other. And I think that's to our benefit because we're able to serve them and really meet them where they are so that we can help best explain everything and make sure that they feel comfortable and confident that, we can get this taken care of for them.
So I just want to know the percentage as far as on an appointment, what's the percentage of your taking the listing based on your mic sharing numbers?
Just shy of 78%.
Good job. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just think if they practiced and previewed and worked on the scripts and dialogues, how really better they would get, Tess.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Good job. All right, excellent. Anyone else have something they want to share that they learned today? I want to share for you guys, I think I mentioned it earlier, that when we were talking, when Mike Ferry started the business, I was basically on his coattails at that time. I've been doing this with him for about 50 years. And way back at that time, he had this system. I bought what he was selling. I got it. But I had true blind faith because no one else around us was doing that kind of business, including me. If I was doing 12, 15 transactions as a sales associate, that was a big deal in those times. And so Mike would have these events and bring people in, like the name I mention all the time is Dodie Donahue. I should check and see if she's still alive. That was she was probably 10 or 15 years older than I was at the time. So that would make her about 100. So we'll see. Anyway, Josie, do you know if Dodie's still around?
I don't, but yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, let's go.
I'll have to ask some of the old people around here.
Yeah, ask old people. Anyway, what I want to say is that, and the beauty of it is that the blind faith that's out there today, the examples of blind faith are spectacular. You have these guys who start, from ground zero I mean, think about it. You know, no production 2 years ago. 3 or 4 months later, they have a few transactions, and their first full year in the business, they do 58 transactions closed. By anybody's standards, that's a lot of business. Okay, I get there's 2 of you, but still, it's a lot of business. The second year, there's 100 transactions. You know, wouldn't surprise me that if you guys got this thing figured out, you'd get to 200-300 transactions a year. Maybe even Josh Parker's numbers of 600-700 transactions a year. That's pretty amazing. And you guys have the opportunity of the blind faith because you have examples of these guys that you can touch, you can talk to, you can pick up a phone and say, geez, you know, did you really do 58 deals? Yeah, they did. They did. There are people hanging around them that see it. My point is, you can too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you choose to. It's a choice. Derek and DJ made a choice. Right, gentlemen?
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay, and I don't want to take anything away from them, but the truth is there's nothing special about special people except that they take action. Got it? You guys are awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being the inspirations that you are, and I was looking forward to watching and seeing you. Are you coming to the retreat in January in the desert?
Yep, we'll be there. We're excited. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. That's where it all started, guys.
Yeah, we're very excited. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, everybody, let's rock and roll. Who's leading our open mic?
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Neil.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks, Neil.
Who's
Neil, it's me, Vivian.
Vivian's got the open mic. By the way, guys, we do a form of what Adam does. We call it open mic. And we do it from 9 to 9 o'clock in the morning all day on this channel.
Okay.
Except for things like this where we jump in. So you're welcome to 2 things. You're welcome to jump in and listen, and a lot of agents, Milton's one of them, where you jump in and do some prospecting and have another 40, 50 people listening to your prospecting. Yeah. There's nothing more exciting than that. Okay. Miguel does that all the time, and it's part of the reason why Miguel's doing so well lately. So Patty, come on. She likes Miguel. Good job.
She likes me better. She likes me.
Derek, DJ, can you imagine dealing with these 2?
You're special, Neil.
Yeah, no. Thank you, but that's not the case. That's not the case. I'm easy. All right, everybody. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Neil. We appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Great work. Excellent. Okay,
Thank you so much.
Vivian, let's go. You're up. Woo-hoo! That was pretty great, wasn't it?
Very,
Kind of amazing, huh, Patty?
very amazing to hear what's possible.
Yeah, and neither one of those guys looked like they worked that hard. All right, I'm going to get to an appointment, and I will be back in about an hour.